and welcome to another episode of Disney Movie Investigation. If this is your first time watching, welcome to the show. In each episode, we take a look at a movie that is featured on Disney+. On this episode, we are beginning our month of Christmas/winter movies as we take a look at this an early 90s favorite, Cool Runnings, starring John Candy. And stay tuned for our bonus story as we take a look at the history of Disney on Ice. And if you are enjoying these videos, I do ask that you please hit that subscribe button. That way you'll be notified with each new episode. Now, sit back and enjoy this episode of Disney Movie Investigation. So like I said, today we are covering Cool Runnings. This movie was released on October 1st, 1993. It was directed by John Turteltaub. The screenplay was by Lynn Stewart Seifert, Tommy Swarduello, and Michael Goldberg. The production companies were Walt Disney Pictures, and it was distributed by Buena Vista Distribution. The budget for this movie was $17 million, and it did a box office return of $154.9 million. But in terms of the backstory, so this movie was originally intended to be a sports drama film with very little comedy, but Disney decided to rework the script to make it more of a comedy. The original title of the film was called Blue Magna, and it was supposed to be directed by Jeremiah S. Chadwick, but he would leave the project to direct another film, Benny and June. Turteltaub was then hired as the director, and he would be the one to have the idea to incorporate the actual footage from the 1988 Winter Olympics into the film. The film would be shot both in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, as well as Jamaica. The film would start in Calgary to take advantage of the colder weather and then move to Jamaica for the warmer weather. A soundtrack would be released in 1993 with 11 different tracks, including Jimmy Cliff and Diana King. In terms of the cast, so we have Leon Robertson, who plays Darius Bannock, John Candy, who plays Irving Blitzer, Doug E. Doug, who plays Sanka, Raleigh D. Lewis, who plays Junior, Malik Yoba, who plays Yul Brenner, and Raymond J. Barry, who plays Kurt Hamill. In terms of the plot, 4 Jamaicans form their country's first ever bobsled team to compete in the upcoming 1988 Winter Olympics. They enlist the help of a former disgraced Olympic gold medal winner to reluctantly coach them. However, when they reach Calgary, they are treated as outsiders by other teams who fear they'll only succeed in embarrassing the sport. So in terms of recommending this movie, this is one of my favorites. I really love this movie. I think it mixes great elements of comedy, especially with Sanka, and then it mixes the drama with John Candy, which was rare at the time. John Candy was mostly known for his comedy roles, but this was kind of starting to establish him as a dramatic actor as well. Unfortunately, it would not last, however, as this would be the last film that John Candy released before he passed away. There were 2 other movies that were released past his death, but this was the last one that he would be alive before being released, which is a real shame. Again, the dramatic moments are really great. It creates a lot of emotion too. This movie also holds a personal spot in my heart, because I was actually at this is a personal story, but I was actually taking figure skatings when I was a kid when this movie was being filmed, and we were there while they were filming at the Canadian Olympic Oval in Calgary. So always going to hold a personal spot to my heart. So let's move on to our bonus story as we take a look at the history of Disney on Ice. This is a touring ice show that is produced by Field Entertainment with a licensing agreement with Walt Disney. The show is aimed at a youth audiences, and it features figure skaters playing their favorite Disney characters. In terms of the history, we go back to 1979 as Mattel's Irving and Kenneth Field Productions purchased Ice Follies and Holiday on Ice. They would soon approach Disney about licensing their characters to do a holiday-themed ice show, and in 1981, they would begin offering Walt Disney's World on Ice. In 1987, the show would make its international debut in Japan with a show titled Happy Birthday, Donald. In 1988, the show became so popular that they would actually expand to 5 touring shows. And in 1998, the show would be retitled to Disney on Ice. In 2008, a new show would be launched every year, and it goes up currently to this day. In terms of the show, it is usually hosted by Mickey and Minnie, and they're usually assisted by Goofy, Donald, and Daisy. And then the show would be broken into segments based on different Disney franchises. And these include Toy Story, Disney Princesses, Cars, Moana, whatever is currently popular at the time. Depending on the year, it would determine which characters and franchises would be featured on the show. So I recently attended my first ever Disney on Ice show, and it was actually an interesting experience because you had the characters, Donald, Goofy, like kind of like in the theme parks, and then they would kind of introduce each segment, which was kind of cool to see not only these great athletes in terms of Olympic figure skaters, but also to see the Disney characters, and the kids were really eating it up. They were able to meet their heroes, which I thought was really awesome. And again, it's almost like a preview of what Disney thinks is really what they're going to be focusing on. Because this show that I saw had Moana as the grand finale, and it's no coincidence that Moana 2 just got released into theaters. So definitely it's interesting. I really recommend to see these shows if you get a chance. They are very entertaining, and it's kind of like music videos on ice with them. Definitely really recommend these. So when it comes to town, definitely get yourself a ticket. So thank you so much for joining us here on another episode of Disney Movie Investigation. I would love for anyone to please leave a comment on what they think of Cool Runnings, as well as if you've ever seen a Disney on Ice show. I would love to hear about your favorite memory or your experience. So as we look forward to our next winter/Christmas movie, we're going to be taking a look at While You Were Sleeping, starring Sandra Bullock and Bull Pullman. And stay tuned for a bonus story as we will take a look at the popular holiday short, Pluto's Christmas Tree. So until next time, I hope you have a magical day, and we will see you real soon.